Page 8, Barnyard Jamboree. Jamboree is just good old-fashioned have a good time. Yeehaw. I do like a good jamboree, which makes sense. This is an allegretto. And to me, allegretto is a fun speed. So when I think fun, I think allegretto. But we'll come back to the allegretto later. We've got some things to deal with first, like the notes and the rhythms and the fingerings. They're trying not to give you too many fingerings, so you kind of have to figure them out yourself. Well, that's fine if you have an idea of how to do fingerings, and there's certain principles. There's different styles of fingering, and teachers teach different styles, and depending on the teacher you have, that's the style you're going to learn. Another teacher might teach a different style. So while you're studying with a particular teacher, you just follow them and do what they say. Another teacher, if they want it different, that's fine. Follow them, do what they say. Eventually, you can put it all together and make it yours. So 4/4 time, 1 sharp, we're in the key of G major. So make sure you can do the G major scale, the E minor scale, and go ahead and do the arpeggios, the G major and E minor, just as well. I got videos on them, go look them up. Right hand first, let's check our fingerings. We're moving around a bit. You're starting out here with this G chord. If you look at the first few notes, they're here. So that's the fingering we're going to use. 1, the repeated notes, we change hand positions on repeated notes. So think that, so here. Reach up, 4th finger. We need 4th because we got the E. You do that again. Third line down, last measure, you get the double bars to go into a new section. Sharp goes away, now we're in C major. On the 4th line down, 2nd measure, this chord, this broken chord, I recommend 4th finger on the F, not 3rd. It's 4th. 4. Connect those, and then back down. 5th finger. The last measure of the page, I want to connect the top note. That's the melody. Thumb just covers the other. And you're back. Double bars, sharp comes back. Now, don't get confused. You're not changing key signatures because of the double bars. It just happens to be that way here. They're unconnected, they're disconnected. They don't apply to each other. The double bars means you're going into a new section. We were in section A. We went into section B. It's a different melody. Well, now we're going back to section A again. Well, in the middle of the page, on the next page, you double bars, you're going into another section, but it's not the same as the B. B was, this other section is, so that would be like a section C. So we got an A, B, A, C on here, sections. But the double bar is just going into a new section. We just happen to be changing key signatures, because if you look at the middle of page 9 where the new section comes in, we're not changing the key signatures there. So, yeah. Anyway, we're back to section A where you play the same way you did before, and then 3rd line down, last measure, you go into a section C. Then what, 3rd finger? That's good exercise if you want to practice that. You're kind of trilling on those 2 notes. They're awkward notes, and we need practice with them. You don't have to. You can do 3, 5. Makes it a little easier. I mean, you had a rest before them. You can use any fingers you want. The problem is, on the next line, 2nd measure, you need to be down here. So I want to prepare that. I don't want to be up here and have to come down here. So I don't want to be using 2. I don't want to end on 2. Let's put it that way. So 3, you're a little closer to where you want to be. If you can, do that. 2, 5, 4. This is the 4th line down, 1st measure. It's a little trickier. Good practice. But now you're closer to that D. Come back up. Left hand's got chords. And I would do here, I like to stay out here. They've got you coming up here. And for the B flat, D flat, I like to stay out here, so I'm just going to do that. second measure, they put the natural signs in parentheses. Let me explain in case you're confused. The flats in the first measure only apply to that measure. So this second measure, those are naturals anyway. They don't need the natural signs, which is why they're in parentheses. They're called courtesy signs. They're saying, be clear. Make sure you play a natural here. Because you might think, well, they made a mistake. They meant to have them flat still. Or you may question it. So they put in the courtesy sign. The reason I mention it is because if you're arranging music yourself or composing, if there's a chance the reader may question or misinterpret what you're saying, put in the courtesy sign, be clear. Just don't do it all the time. Just do it when you feel it's really needed. Then going on, the last measure, you do 5-4 or 5-3, whichever, and you back up here and do it again. But really, the left hand's just doing broken chords throughout, as near as I can tell. Put the hands together just to see what happens here. You go through and put the hands together. And then remove all the hesitation so it's a steady beat throughout. And when you feel you're ready, then you can maybe try tackling this articulation. Staccatos and slurs, and the hands are doing different things. You also have some marcatos in here. Let's talk about that. There, see that G has a little arrow? That's a marcato. It's a stronger accent than a regular accent. Give a little extra oomph. Accents, you get a little oomph. Look, with a marcato, it's more oomph. Not a super duper oomph. There's stronger accent than this, but just more. Staccato. And when you play the staccato in the second measure, you're going to come up, don't accent. Our tendency is to accent it because we push off. No, don't accent, just come off. Ba-da-da-da-dum. That's all it is. And the left hand, marcato. Give it extra. I'm using wrist here. Like so. So you can read the dynamic or the articulation as well as I can. I'm thinking dynamics. Let's talk dynamics. You're allowed. This is the right hand. The dynamics apply to the melody. So you're loud, and that marcato is going to be really loud. The left hand's in the background. Even with the marcato, it's still in the background. You go into section B in the middle of the page, you're coming down sort of soft. The left hand's softer. And this is connected. You swell, ba-da-da-da-da-da, come up there. You have to feel the swells, and then you're back to section A part where you're loud. And section C in the middle of the page on page 9. This is loud here. Soft. Loud. In the right hand. And you're staying loud. And the last chords, that's both hands, because the melody ended there. I'm done. These last chords, both hands together. Yeah, loud. Now the speed, it's got to be accurate. It's got to be even, so it's got to be controlled. What can you do controlled? Now there, sometimes when you add the speed, you have to adjust the fingering a little bit because of the speed. Because one fingering will work at a slower speed, but not at a higher speed. And another fingering might work better at a higher speed, but not at a lower speed. It's here. Look at the end of the first line on page 8. You're here. Those D's. Repeated notes like that don't work real well fast. So I want to use different fingers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play quarter note with the thumb, and I'm going to go a 2 on. Because I can do that more easily and stay relaxed than using thumb on all of them. So I'm recommending you use a 2-1. You get the same thing at the end of the first line on the next page too. It's the same passage. And allegretto isn't fast. It's just sort of fast and playful. It's just a feel. But have fun with it. It's the overall feel of the beat. It's not the speed of the beat. It's the overall feel of the piece. That's got to be playful.